Hey ladies, before we get started, I just wanted y'all to know that I know that we are having issues with the volume going in and out, but I am working on it. So please bear with me and I will fix it in due time. Thank y'all. So, y'all, with everything that's happening, I think we should continue to talk about femininity and masculinity. People have like their own definition and ideals of what these two may mean, but we're seeing a display of what men think is masculinity, and women are just repulsed by what they are seeing. So there is like a massive effort to force women and everybody else to just obey what a certain group of men are wanting, and women are just like, no, just so turned off by it because it's not like natural. Men have been taught that forcing people to do things is like a display of masculinity. Men have been taught that suppressing their feelings and emotions is a display of masculinity. And also on that, women have been taught the same thing, because we'll see like a lot of women telling their boys, if they're crying, stop crying like a girl. Like women take on masculinity and patriarchy. Also, I don't think that is necessarily like bad that women are being masculine and feminine. I think all of us should have a little bit of both. But the thing is, I think we are just so out of balance. We're not balanced because we're in this patriarchy and in this capitalistic society. We're just not balanced. We're just so far either left or right. So let's get into these videos of what people think masculinity and femininity is. And I will be in and out, and I'll talk to you after this.
If you think divine masculinity looks like yelling over women on a podcast, you've already lost. Because divine masculinity is not loud. It is not performative, and it's definitely not on a podcast where a bunch of insecure men bring women on there just to belittle them and call it truth. True masculinity is not Fresh and Fit. It is not the Whatever podcast. And if your so-called masculine role model needs to embarrass women to feel powerful, he's not divine. He's wounded. Masculinity does not need to flex. It doesn't need to degrade the feminine to feel strong, because it protects, it directs, and it leads with purpose, not ego. It creates safety, but not fear. And it speaks truth, but not to control, to liberate. Divine masculinity is calm in chaos. It's grounded in presence, and it's the kind of energy that walks into a room and doesn't need to say a fucking word because it's felt. So if you're following men who get their power by mocking women online, you're not learning masculinity. You're learning manipulation dressed up as alpha. That is not leadership, that is not divine, and that is definitely not
3 years
love.
of me learning actual masculinity in 60 fucking seconds. All right, first things first. Number one, I thought masculinity was just about getting bigger muscles, making a shit ton of money, and also having people have a sense of fear about you. Although that may be partially true, here's the spoiler. It's just insecurity with the protein shake some fucking times. Because when you test some of these guys, they're not who they really say they are. Number two, I was chasing dominance because I didn't understand direction. I could lead other people, but I couldn't lead my fucking self out of emotional chaos. A lot of guys in these alpha male groups, they don't have no emotional intelligence. Number three, I learned real masculinity starts with actual accountability, not blaming your ex, your parents, or society. Instead, saying, yeah, I was a fucking problem, and just doing something about it. Number four, I realized protection isn't just physical, it's emotional stability, financial stability, and spiritual presence. Number five, I also learned that a man's strength isn't proven in how hard he hits, it's really in how much can he hold without breaking his fucking character. And last last but not least, real masculinity isn't fucking loud. It's actually quiet, consistent, and dangerous only when necessary. You don't have to prove you're a fucking man, you just have to be one when it actually fucking counts. Saves you a lot of heartbreak, ego bruises, and 2 years of fake alpha male podcast.
Masculinity is a problem because it is a condition where you will fight back, which is the number one thing that they never wanted. Where there are masculine men, there are safer environments. And what do I mean? This whole toxic masculinity farce that people try to toss out here. The term toxic masculinity came from two Caucasian men. There we go again. Shepard Bliss and Robert J. Stoller. Number two, if that term came out and then it became overshadowing of what masculinity is, it blurs the lines of what masculinity is and what it is not. So now what people perceive as masculinity is putting their hands on a woman. That's masculine. No, that's not what masculinity is. Masculinity would prevent a man from putting his hands on his woman. Masculinity protects the community. Masculinity raises and respects children. Masculinity secures women. Masculinity makes it to where you're not gonna step over here and not get checked if you don't operate properly. That's what masculinity is. Toxicity is the opposite of masculinity. You can't even put those together, because the other thing is, you knew it was an agenda because you never hear people talk about toxic femininity. But it's always toxic masculinity. Why? Because the agenda is to make the man weak, because if you have weak men, you have women who are not going to be able to be protected. So if they don't have their security, we will be able to take control of them. It is the same tactic in a new package in this generation, where they are looking at make sure we are able to destroy them slowly but surely, and make sure they don't have any men to protect them. Even though women can protect themselves, they shouldn't have to.
So we are in 2026 and Trump and MAGA are like destroying the United States. And I don't see a lot of men willing to stand up and fight back. So I don't agree with Rizza Islam here. I see a lot of women who are divorcing their husbands and leaving their husbands because they are underreacting and not planning and not trying to fight back, because the women are like, hey, I thought y'all were supposed to protect us, and I don't feel safe or protected because you're not even talking about it. And worse than that, you don't even know or see what's going on around you, and I do. So I don't agree with him there. But everything he said at the end, what masculinity is, raising and protecting children and all of that, I feel like that is what women do. What any female species in the wild does. Like, I feel like men have a really misconstrued ideal of what masculinity is, because men don't really protect. We're seeing that now. We're seeing men destroying the world, but we don't see a lot of men protecting. And when they do try to protect, we get like Alex Peretti, and we have millions and millions of men in this world and in this country that are not upset about what's going on. But we have so many women that are upset and looking at them like, what are you going to do? So I don't think that they are masculine in that way.
Men don't really understand what masculine energy is. They think masculine energy is a byproduct of doing masculine things. Lifting, fighting, being strong, stoic, boundary, demanding, and having power over a woman. That has nothing to do with it. Masculinity at its core is pure, locked in, rooted presence. Pure I am state. Why? Because she can express herself however way she wants, and he'll stay unmoved. Because a woman's moods, emotions fluctuate with her cycle. And men who aren't rooted in presence will constantly try and fix her and put her in a state that's likable. If he's rooted in the I am state, calm, present, he won't move. He loves her exactly as she is. She can dance, she can sing, she can cry, she can move. He's unchanged. If he's in that energy, he can watch a rom-com. He can put a flower in a vase. He can sing. He can move and dance. But if his energy and his presence is locked in, he's in his masculine, no matter what he does.
I agree with this man right here 100%. I think love is not trying to change a person and trying to mold them into somebody that you could possibly like, which is what most people are doing in relationships. I think love is just allowing a person to be who they are. Not trying to get them to change. And most people do that, men and women. And that is why most relationships are not working. But love is listening to the other person and understanding them 100%. Even if you have to walk away, even if you understand them 100% and you walk away, that is love, because you understand them, but that's not what you want. You know that they're not going to change their mind. They're going to be stuck in that mindset and that thought process because that is what they've been taught since childhood. We are in a patriarchy. So you love them to death. A lot of women are experiencing this right now. You love your husband, you love your boyfriend, but you just don't understand why they think the way they do. They think the way they do because we've all been programmed to think the way that we do. And women evolve, women change, women grow. And for some reason, men don't want to. They are told not to. So women are divorcing at higher rates. And it's okay. But women have to realize that with us divorcing more and them not changing and being stuck in their mindsets and not wanting to grow and evolve and learn, that we are in danger. That puts us in danger because they don't understand why you don't want them. They really truly feel like they are doing everything that they're supposed to do as a man, and you're the problem because you're changing, you're evolving, you're learning, you're growing. And they've been taught that they are the man and that women are beneath them. So they are conditioned to not listen to us. And women don't understand that. And women are in danger. And so that's why I asked y'all to share these videos, like, comment, and subscribe. Get in the comments to wake women up faster because, you know, we're in danger. So let's get back into it.
Masculine man who cannot control his emotions is not a masculine man. It is actually very hyper feminine behavior because he is always ungrounded. He is always reactive. He's always emotionally charged, which will create a lot of unsafety in a woman's nervous system because she needs to feel that she can trust him when challenges arise. And if she doesn't trust him, she doesn't trust his emotional state, and he's very up and down and hot and cold and all over the place, then she is going to withdraw because she doesn't feel safe with him.
So, as men and women, we have to be very careful of listening to everybody. When he says hyper feminine, it's not true. Like, you have to know how to discern and separate truth from lies. Women are not overly emotional like we've been taught. Women are actually very logical and sensible when it comes to a lot of things. And we've been taught the exact opposite. Men are not. Men are not like logical and sensible. That's why we have so many wars in the country. That's why we have MAGA. That's why we have conservative Christianity and like just religion. Like, men are forming all these things to like just put people in a box. Women are not like this. Women think outside of all the boxes. That's why women are leaving churches. The churches are only being held up because women were there and women didn't know any better. We're told that we are emotional creatures, we're not leaders, we're all of these things, but we really aren't. Women are more calm and sensible, and we are very protective of everybody around us. We're very protective. Men are really like individualistic. Women are like not like that. Women, if they love you, they're going to protect you. They're going to protect your family, your children, and if they know something would harm you, they're going to let you know. They're going to be concerned. They're going to be up all night about it. Men are not like that. With everything that's going on in the world, we are seeing in mass that men are not like that. Women are worried about what is going to be good for our children, our future. our relationships, our government, our lives, men are not thinking about these things. They have no foresight, which, if you don't have foresight, you cannot be a leader. You cannot say that you love somebody if you're not thinking about them and their safety. Women are love. Love is women. I hear a lot of people say that love is an action. Love is not an action. Love just is. Love is just something that you exude and that just comes from you naturally. It's not something that you are taught. It's just your nature. It's not an action, it is your nature.
Actress Tracee Ellis Ross talking about her struggles of dating, and it was very well articulated, and I respect what she had to say, but I do have a major critique. One of the things she said is that a lot of men her age exhibit toxic masculinity. But the only problem is there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. That's like saying foolish wisdom, or darkly light skin, or slowly fast. A lot of the things being deemed toxic masculinity are things that aren't masculine at all. An emotionally abusive man who takes advantage of women, that's not masculine. Someone using their physical power to bully people they claim to care about, that's not masculine. Being a tyrant who doesn't look out for your loved one's best interests, that's not masculine. Masculinity is consciousness, awareness, decisiveness, wisdom. Masculinity is mental, spiritual, emotional control. Masculinity is being a person of your word, standing by your commitments, being a person that's honorable. Masculinity is discipline. Masculinity is looking out for the best interests and well-being of those who you're responsible for. If it's toxic masculinity, then it's not masculinity.
So if you're only listening and weren't looking at the screen when he just rattled off everything that was masculinity, I put on the screen that everything he just named is not masculine. It's feminine. And if you go back, everything that he named is normally seen in women and attributed to women. You don't see the majority of men having the attributes that he just named off.
Remove all of the toxic aspects of masculinity, then what is left? I feel men often complain that they feel all masculinity is under attack. I'd love to hear what your version of healthy masculinity looks like.
What is healthy masculinity to me? Well, what is masculinity? Well, to me, it's a made-up word. So is femininity. They're two made-up words that we've attached a bunch of characteristics and behaviors to one another, and we've deemed this word more related to men and this word more related to women. So essentially, as a man, you have to do the things that make you more masculine and suppress the things that make you more feminine, and with women it's vice versa. Why? Who knows? It's not based out of anything. It's not scientific, it's not biological. It's just programming that usually adapts from whatever type of environment we're currently existing in. Because I've never seen once anyone say that there's anything positive about women being masculine and men being feminine. Usually it always comes off in a very passive-aggressive tone. It's great she's out there earning money and making bank in her career, but she's too masculine, she won't find a husband. It's great he has a sensitive side and he can express himself emotionally, but he's too and he's feminine, women already have a pussy, they don't need another one. Like, the whole thing has a real potential to make you feel restricted as a person. I just think it's funny how people will attach themselves to these two words when no one's forcing them to, then judge the behavior of others on the basis of these two made-up words. I mean, I'm a creative person, and apparently creativity is feminine, and why is lifting weights considered a masculine activity when more and more women are doing it now? I guess I've come this way to question this whole mumbo-jumbo because there's so much bad press around masculinity. Most of the people preaching this crap, none of them I would aspire to be. If I was to create a concept of what masculinity would be to me, are the actions I'm taking in my life, led with good intentions, backed up by good morals and values, they guiding me along the path of being a good person towards becoming a better person? Am I being of service to those I love and care about? Am I working towards a higher purpose that's greater than myself? If the concept of masculinity and femininity didn't exist, would you invent it? What importance does it have on our overall society? Would our society suffer immensely if it never existed? If it was a thing to exist, I would have to say that it would have to be a positive thing, meaning there would only be masculinity and femininity and no toxic masculinity and no toxic femininity. You would just have toxic behaviors that men and women do. I guess it's just about being a good human without necessarily needing to attach myself to made-up labels, and to live and operate in a life that is authentic to me and not a life created by someone else's perception on how you should live your life.
And this man is right. But women will mostly agree with him and men will mostly disagree with him because they were taught that anything that agrees more towards the feminine side is wrong, and what they deem to be the masculine side is right. So a lot of men will dismiss him and say he's just like a panderer or he's gay, and they won't listen to men like him. But women will agree with him, and this is it's a problem because we're on two totally different fields, two totally different planes.
Mother of a boy, you need to hear this, even if it makes you uncomfortable. You are your son's first love, his first home. Before the world ever speaks to him, you do. And the way you speak about men, about masculinity, about his father, is how he learns to see himself.
So it's not about what he's learning from his father or what he's seeing from his father. It's the woman's fault.
Here's what's happening to boys right now. They're being emotionally castrated before they've even become men. Not by strangers, not by the internet, at home. Every time masculinity is spoken about like it's dangerous.
And most of the time, the way men are expressing masculinity is dangerous.
Every time men are framed as the problem. Every time strength is treated like something that needs correcting instead of guiding.
Globally, men are the problem, and they are using their strength to oppress people.
You mock men, when you roll your eyes at male traits, when you speak about his father with contempt, when men are a punchline, a warning, a disappointment.
But let's ignore all of the toxic stuff men tell their sons about little girls and women. Don't play with dolls like a girl, like they're not going to have their own kids. Don't cry like a girl, like they're not human and don't have emotions. Don't play with the little cook set kitchen like a girl, like they're not going to have to learn how to cook for themselves when they grow up. Don't wear pink like a girl, even though pink is just a color and many men used to wear pink like centuries ago. Pink was a man color. Don't wear your hair like in a man bun or put twist in it like a girl. Everything that men teach boys is toxic, and they teach them not to be humans.
One doesn't hear commentary. He hears a verdict. He learns what I'm becoming is wrong.
And they only feel this way when they have opposing opinions from other men. It's not the women telling him these things that's making him feel like what he's doing is wrong. It's him looking at the other men around him, and because he's a male like them, feeling like he should be doing the things that they are doing. They are teaching him, whether they are saying it verbally or if he's just seeing what they're doing, and he's conflicted.
What's growing inside me is shameful. My existence will hurt people. So he starts cutting pieces of himself off quietly before you even notice. That's castration, not physical, psychological castration. You don't raise safe men by neutering boys.
Women are not castrating boys. Like I named before, men tell them they can't play with dolls, they can't cry, they can't cook, they can't play nurse, they can't wear pink, they can't wear nail polish. All of these things were done by men in the past, like not the doll thing, but wearing nail polish and things that men consider to be like feminine. They wore wigs, they wore powdered makeup, they wore stockings, they wore pantyhose. In the colonial times and the Roman times, men did all of this. So at one point in time, all of this stuff was considered masculine, and now it's considered feminine. So they feel like they can just change the rules of what it means to be masculine when they want to. And when people are saying, we don't care what y'all think is masculine and feminine, now in 2026, they're mad and they're trying to put boys back into these boxes, and women are trying to break the boys out of it because it's not working for them. It's dehumanizing them and making them feel like they can't do a lot of stuff because they are boys, and that is hurting them.
Raise lost ones. Boys don't need their power crushed. They need it trained. They need boundaries, not disgust. Guidance, not fear. Standards, not shame. Because if a boy learns early that his masculinity is the problem, he won't grow into a good man. He'll grow into a man who doesn't even want to be a man. And here's the part you cannot escape. You have more power over this than anyone else. You can be the woman who gives your son a spine and a purpose, or the one who shames him into hiding it. Choose carefully, because he will carry your voice inside him for the rest of his life, no matter what.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to be a man either if I was a boy. If I was told that I can't cry like a human, I'm not supposed to be playing with cooking sets as a kid because that's girl stuff. I can't do that, even though that's what I want to do. Maybe I like cooking or would like to learn how to cook as a 10-year-old boy or a 9-year-old boy. I would be mad if I was told I couldn't wear certain colors. Like, for what? I would be mad if I was told that I couldn't wear my hair a certain way or it makes me look gay. Like, I would be mad. Like, I would be mad if the only emotion that men taught me that I could feel is anger and jealousy and hatred. Yes, that's why we have a lot of men that are not wanting to be men, and a lot of people who just would rather be something different.
Femininity is conditional, masculinity is unconditional.
Why do you say that?
Well, men have to be men regardless. Men don't have the privilege of being able to turn on masculinity on and off. And I think a classic example is a man, Sylvester Pay.
Men and the patriarchy made this rule.
If his time is just as valuable and you've agreed that you no longer have a romantic interest, you should be able to split it from that point in.
Most of these men's time is not just as valuable as a woman, especially a woman that has a lot going on and men are chasing her constantly. His time is not as valuable because most of the time these men are just going on these dates hoping to get some sex out of it. Women are talking. Women know what men want from the first date.
I think also when you look at divorce and so much more in society, men suffer at the hands of many different things. I think women are a lot more powerful than they think they are.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But in relation to divorce, what do you mean?
Oh, well, divorce is on the rise. There's no real incentive.
Initiated by women, is that why you're
I wouldn't say necessarily always initiated by women, but there is women and statistically initiate divorce more. I think the reasons are a lot more complex than just some people make it out to be. But
You can never be feminine with a man who you do not respect. The reason why you end up in this type of dynamic is because you unintentionally taught him that you can handle everything and you don't need him to.
And she can handle everything and she doesn't need him to. That's why women are divorcing.
So now you're in a relationship with a man who's passive, doesn't step up, doesn't take the lead, and takes zero initiative. And then what happens? You start losing respect and the attraction fades. Because let's be real, who wants to take care of a grown-ass man? So if you don't want to be in this role, you have to stop rushing into solving every single problem, making all the decisions, and taking the lead every single.
So basically, you have to make yourself less capable. Women take the lead every time because women are natural leaders. If men were natural leaders, you wouldn't have to be talking like this. They would just do what the woman is doing. They would solve problems. They would lead naturally.
So for example, the next time you guys are discussing where you want to go to eat and you say to him, where would you like to go? And he passively says, I don't know. And you rush in to make the decision for him. You sit back and you say, I trust you to take the lead and figure this out. So when you start shifting the dynamic, it's going to do one of two things. He'll either start stepping up and taking the lead, making decisions and taking initiative, or he'll step out because he wants to be treated like a little princess. And trust me, you don't want to be his mommy.
So I'm going to give you ladies a little assignment. Before I play this next video, I want you to listen to this guy and I want you to tell me if what he is describing as masculine, is that what women do or is that what the majority of men do? Think about yourself. Think about the women in your lives. Just think about everything you see on TV and in the news and just everything you've known since you've been on this planet. And tell me, is what he's describing, is that what men do or is that what women do?
A man is defined by one thing. A man creates safety, not confusion, in the lives of the people he cares about. Stability. Stability is a reflection of a man's relationship with himself. A stable and secure man doesn't create chaos because he doesn't live in chaos. He doesn't play games because he's not at war with himself. He doesn't control or manipulate or try to prove anything because he knows himself, and it's enough. So I think it's pretty simple. A masculine man. The question is, does he build trust or does he break it? Does he create safety or does he make people feel uncertain?
Fake masculinity looks like this, and it's destroying your marriage. Confusing dominance with offering direction.
Again, because women are natural leaders, we really don't need direction from men. They want to offer it, but women don't need it. Women are always offering direction to men.
Raising your voice to feel heard. Avoiding emotion to feel stable. Outsourcing your power to porn for approval. Acting indifferent to look strong. Leading without listening. Making all decisions without inviting her voice. Shutting down because you don't want to say something you'll regret. Using silence as a weapon instead of becoming receptive to your wife. Saying you want respect when what you really want is to not be questioned. Dismissing her intuition because it makes you feel uncomfortable. Tolerating dysfunction because at least you don't hit your wife. Clinging to logic while abandoning emotional responsibility. Using control while avoiding self-control. Demanding loyalty from her while living in secrecy. And thinking that providing money means you're leading your family well. A masculine man is comfortable in the face of his wife's frustration. Masculinity is offering structure where there's chaos, clarity where there's confusion, and action when there's passivity. A masculine man can tolerate emotional conversations without shutting down or blowing up. Being masculine is not about becoming a dominant alpha male who doesn't allow his wife to have questions or concerns. Healthy masculinity is defined by having body awareness, being present in the moment, and living with intentionality instead of reactivity. Your wife doesn't have to suffer so you can become more of a man. Masculine maturity looks quite different than that.
A woman will stay in her masculine energy until a man makes her feel safe to be comfortable in her feminine energy. Her masculine energy is a defense mechanism. It's something she does to protect herself from all the trauma.
Feminine is actually the protector. It protects us and it protects others.
It comes from constantly being hurt and let down by people she loved. She always had to go and get it out the mud by herself with no help. She's independent. She doesn't have anyone to fall back on. And she refuses to waste any more time on men who just keep taking from her. And until a man can prove he is a provider and a safe place for her to be feminine, don't expect her energy to change.
Sorry if I'm masculine, but I've been forced to be masculine. When I was married or when I was in my past relationships and a man didn't wear the pants, I had to take off my skirt and put the pants in the relationship. If a man can't show up and can't be a man and an alpha, then guess what? A woman has to be that alpha. So a lot of men in my life forced me to wear the pants because they...
But there are three considerations that I think are really important here. Number one, I believe this woman is representative of so many women that are calling men forward, that are craving more healthy masculine men, not men that are repressive or autocratic, men that are living from their past trauma, men that repress and suppress their feelings, men that are disconnected from their hearts, men that are disconnected from their sex, men that are disconnected from their bodies. She is calling men forward. I am calling men forward. I call myself forward, often, consistently, to be a greater version of myself. The second consideration here is that there is relational trauma bonding potentially taking place. And that relational trauma bonding that's taking place is an opportunity for that relationship to heal, which brings me into my third consideration, that maybe she didn't have a choice. There are circumstances where you won't have a choice. However, to break your own patterns that no longer serve you, you have to choose differently. And so if she continues to choose to be in that masculine role, maybe that's not serving her. Maybe there's something greater that awaits her. Maybe she had to be in her masculine growing up because she had to survive, and all she's doing is perpetuating that same thing in this relationship and other previous relationships by choosing to be in her masculine as opposed to walking away. And I completely understand that walking away isn't always an option. It's not always easy. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this?
Again, when I look at this and I see her saying, I have to be in my masculine, I feel like you're not in your masculine, you're in your feminine. The feminine just does. If you look at nature, you look at animals, The feminine is protecting the children. The feminine is hunting. The feminine is keeping the pride together. The feminine is protecting, like prides of lion, they protect with each other. They fight the males. If a male comes up on them, they have to fight the male together. Even if bears do that. Bees, they Okay, so if you're not looking at the screen right now, go ahead and look up at the screen. And I showed you what the actual bees do to the male bees in the winter. They kick out the male bees because the male bees are going to like eat up all the food in the winter, and they don't have any more use for them because they have to protect the children in the hive in the wintertime. So the male bees get kicked out in the cold and they just die. The feminine, like the males, they have a purpose, but there's a queen bee that everybody's job is to protect. There's not a king bee, there is a queen bee. And I don't know, I just feel like everybody has feminine and masculine mixed up. And I feel like women have both, but we feel like what y'all are describing as masculine is masculine and is not. It's really femininity. Women not needing anybody, women taking care of everything. Everybody thinks that is being masculine, and it's not. It's women just being women.
It's literally men out here complaining about the woman being too masculine. They want the women to be more submissive, more feminine, more soft. But in actuality, the woman, the feminine energy, is feeding off of the man's mind. The men want the woman to be more feminine, but the men have to become more in their masculine energy. What's the sole purpose of the masculine energy? Direction and purpose.
A lot of women have direction and purpose. For the most part, we are not seeing men with direction and purpose. That is why we have incels. That is why we have a male loneliness epidemic. That is why we have MAGA. More men need to be in their feminine to be balanced, and be more in their feminine to be able to understand women and to be balanced, y'all.
So as men, we have to be more in our purpose. We have to raise our consciousness so that we can provide a soft life for our woman. We have to get the woman out of survival mode. Can you pay the woman's bills so that she don't have to worry about providing for herself? Can you raise her consciousness? Can you lead her to a promising place? Do you have a plan to lead that woman, right? Do you have the information inside of your mind to elevate that woman's mind and make her soft?
Okay, so herein lies the problem. Men feel like they have to provide a soft life for women, and women are thinking that men need to provide a soft life for them. But that's the problem. It's not natural for humans to have to provide these things for one another. That's why it's not working. Patriarchy and capitalism has made it to where women are needing to depend on men for these things. And if you're a conservative, white nationalist Christian who feels like women are property, you have these beliefs and you pass them on to everybody else. But women and men do not belong to each other. We are not each other's property. It is not a man's job to provide a soft life for us. It is not. And that is why so many men are stressed out, because the way that capitalism and patriarchy are set up is impossible for them to do. So they are upset and taking us out because they can't do it, and we're expecting it. The natural system is women helping other women and building community, and men being separately from those women, and women getting to choose, like, if we want to deal with those men or not and procreate or not. This is nature. This is natural. But we are in a system that is not set up for that, and everybody is frustrated because everybody is expecting things from the opposite sex that the opposite sex is not naturally wired to do. it's going to be hard. And then women, because we are in a patriarchy, have other women who are trying to force them into these boxes that they are trying to break out of, because that's not their natural way of life. It's not their natural way of being. So other women are actually fighting on behalf of men to get women back into this box to do what this system has trained us to do since birth. And it's not working for anybody. And a lot of feminists are catching on to this. A lot of feminists are not aware of the entire picture, but people like Princella, they know, they have the right idea. People like what is her name? YV Edit, she's married. So am I. So is like a lot of women who are talking like I talk are married, but we are catching on that what is going on is not natural. And that's why so many divorces are happening. And very few men are catching on, but men are catching on, and they are becoming feminists because they realize this system is set up for all of us to fail. Women need to be free to be who they are and what they want to be. They don't need to be cleaning and cooking and taking care of children and doing all of these things for men and for families, because they get exhausted because they are human. Men are like, no, you don't need to be free. You're not human. You need to take care of me because this is what I've been taught and this is what I was promised. You need to be my slave. You need to take care of me and my children. That's why men are always like, I want to have 12 kids. And women are like, no, like I'm the one that had to be pregnant for 10 months. I want to have 2. But a lot of women allow men to talk them into having 12 kids because they don't know any better. It's the programming. The system is all crumbling. Women are waking up and we are finding out that this is not natural. If y'all want to know if this is natural or not, ladies, I know men won't listen to me because they're men and they don't listen to women. If y'all want to know what females in nature are doing with the males, I suggest y'all just look at nature and see what all the females are doing with the males and how they are reacting. Y'all will be shocked that animals and insects are a lot smarter than human females.
Change men's behavior just by being in the room. You take a group of middle schoolers and you take a pretty girl and you tell her to sit in the room, their behavior will be 75% better than if it was all guys. What did she do? Did she say anything? Was she an authoritarian? Did she take a course on how to influence people? No. We're lacking something in this world, and it's called femininity. And that's necessary for the improvement of men. If women don't have it, men don't improve. What do men become? The thing that hurts women, not protects them. Men don't become the thing that protects the world from danger. They become the thing that destroys it. And women do not become the thing that cradles and loves life. They become the thing that consumes it. So becoming disconnected from what we are on an authentic level as men and women destroys the world as we know it. And so you're telling me that it's not important to connect to your femininity as a woman, as a man, your masculinity, and to understand why you're here. That's exactly why we are here.
Ladies, if you are in a relationship with a man who doesn't consistently try to make your life better, whether that's doing nice things, giving you compliments, just consistently pouring into you, then
I could be wrong, but I don't think most women even want this. They don't need men consistently pouring into them and giving them compliments. I feel like he's deflecting, and I feel like that's what a lot of men would like women to do to them. Women are not that egotistical and don't need that much attention from men like men think we do. We really don't.
you are not in a relationship with a healthy masculine man. Because a healthy masculine man wants to take care of his woman because he knows the value that she will bring him when she is in her feminine energy.
When women are in their feminine energy, they don't need men to take care of them. They are doing what you see women doing now, divorcing men and saying, I would rather be alone. You're stressing me out. These men don't know what a healthy man is. That is the problem. And when women tell them, I want a man who listens to me, who understands me, who can communicate with me, who is emotionally intelligent. That is what women are now telling them is a healthy man, which that is a healthy human. So women are trying to get men to be healthy humans, not just healthy men. Women are trying to get men to express their feelings and emotions and stop suppressing them like they've been taught by other men in patriarchy. But since men don't listen to women, we will continue to have men like this speaking and making videos of what they think healthy masculinity is and healthy femininity is, when healthy femininity is what they hate. They hate women actually being feminine because when women are feminine, they don't need them. Women can do everything on their own and survive on their own. All women are wanting is for them to be actual humans and to care and to have feelings and to not be like psychopaths and narcissists and killing us. And if they listen to women, they would be human and they wouldn't feel the need to do all these things.
So if you're in a relationship with a man who doesn't consistently try to build you up, take care of you, provide for you, take care of the technical things in your life, then you're not in a relationship with a healthy masculine man. You're in a relationship with a man who is a liability, and you probably feel like you have to be his mother. Because healthy masculine men, they show up differently. We take care of our women. We provide for them. And these type of men are super valuable, and they need to be respected and sexually desired.
I like how he threw in how these men are really super valuable at the end and they need respect and sex. If you're super valuable, you don't have to go around convincing people, especially women, that you're super valuable. And you don't have to convince women to respect you if you're a respectable person and you're doing what you should be doing. Women are not just leaving good and happy marriages because their men were just so respectable and valued. So men can say what they want, but women are speaking out and saying otherwise.
Family. What many are calling biblical masculinity ain't Bible. It's brokenness, dressed up as divine. Jesus wasn't out here flexing power, dominating women, or chasing submission. He washed feet. He laid his life down. He led with sacrifice and not selfishness. That's masculinity. That's kingdom. This idea that real men need multiple women, no emotions, in full control, that's not masculinity. That's insecurity with a beard. Biblical masculinity looks like this.
Now watch her name all of the attributes of women. All of these things are mostly attributed to women.
1, discipline. 1 Corinthians 9:27. Number 2, servant leadership. Mark 10:45. Number 3, loving one woman well. Ephesians 5:25. Number 4, being slow to anger and quick to listen. James 1:19. Don't let culture twist what God made sacred. Because real masculinity isn't about domination. It's about dying to self. And if a man can't do that, he ain't leading. He's just loud.
Men are born on top of the mountain. Men are born in the valleys around it. A man is judged by how high he climbs. A woman is judged by how far she falls. Men have much to gain. Women have much to lose. Masculinity is built. Femininity is preserved. I think sometimes as men, it's easy to begrudge our journey, and sometimes women begrudge their journey. This is just the programming, and I don't pretend to understand why that's above my pay grade, but I do know that this is a reality. We are on different journeys, and there is a role for a man where he has to step up and prove himself. And one thing men learn really, really quickly is, one, we're expendable, and we should be. We're here to preserve our females and our children. That's what men are supposed to do. Not only are we expendable, but the only value that a man has is the value that he provides for somebody else. Whereas women have a completely different framework that they're operating within. They already have intrinsic value, and they are the ones that are going to carry the human race into the future. So as men, it is our job to protect femininity, not to degrade it or to destroy it or to manipulate it, which so many men do, but to be protectors of it, that are going to stand their watch. And when the night is the darkest, that's when you need men out there. When the wolves are howling, you need a man out there that's going to take care of it, that's willing to lay down his life to protect the things that he loves most and to preserve the women in his life and the children in his life. And there's no shame in that. That is the journey that all of us men are on.
Now, to the average woman listening to this, she would be excited and think this sounds so good and he's the man I want. But to me, I'm not average. I'm different. And one thing I caught that he said is, we are here to preserve our females. Anytime I hear a man calling a woman a female, that is a red flag to me anyway. But him saying this just lets me know that he feels like women belong to men, and that is a problem. That is why this world is the way that it is, because men feel like they are entitled to a woman, and once they get that woman, it is their job to protect, even though they don't really protect. They don't live in Gotham City, so they're not really protecting. We see what's going on. This is January 30th, 2026. Right now, we are in a fascist society where Nazis are walking around, taking people out, kidnapping people, putting them in camps, and none of these men who are saying that they are protectors are doing anything. So women no longer believe in that protector myth and lie. That is over, but they're going to keep pushing it. But he said our females, which to me, that is a toxic, probably Christian conservative mindset. You don't own a human. You cannot own humans. It's not your job to preserve us. How can you preserve us and keep us safe when you're the ones who are taking us out globally? No, it is women's job to come together with other women and create safe spaces for ourselves. That's why women are divorcing. That's why women are making podcasts like mine. They're popping up everywhere because y'all have not protected us. If you look in the comments and when men are responding, it's violently. When women make channels and post things talking about women and what we're doing, what we like, what we want, there are men in the comments threatening them and just disagreeing and being just combative, and women are done. So if y'all feel like your job is to preserve and protect, you have failed. You have failed, and women are like, done.
About the manosphere,
that it's managed to convince a generation of men that it wants to help them, when in reality they are just exploiting the pain and struggle and insecurities of endless men to profit off for their own benefit. And the people that end up paying the price for this are women. Am I getting warm?
Us men built the whole goddamn world.
Us? You mean me and you? No, we didn't.
We built the roads, we built the railways.
I did 3 days of laboring on a construction site. Does that mean I built a house?
We built the trains, we built the airplane.
The point I'm trying to make is I am sick of men with microphones and fake podcasts taking credit for what other men may have contributed to society when they personally didn't do it. I have a feeling the only thing that you've contributed to society as a man is podcast pollution.
We built a big building.
If he's going to pat himself on the back for the good things that other men have contributed to society, how come he's not going to take credit for all the bad things that other men have contributed to society? Men have also manipulated, coerced, exploited, abused, commit acts of violence, assault, robbed people, people, murdered people, homicide, femicide, familicide, genocide, drug trafficked, sex trafficked, human trafficked, pedophilia, bestiality, necrophilia. That's what men have also done. Why aren't you taking credit for that? I only bring this up because if a woman was to point out, well, the only reason any man was able to do any of those things is because a woman gave birth to them, these men would respond, women are then responsible for all the men they gave birth to who did all of these atrocious things. Women gave birth to Hitler and Stalin.
We fought the wars.
Did you? I didn't.
We sacrificed our lives.
What sacrifice have you made? Seriously, it is disgusting to take credit for the sacrifice that other men made.
Millions of men have done that.
Mind you, it was a sacrifice that other men forced them to do.
And to this day, millions other are still there maintaining this infrastructure.
This narrative is designed to get men angry, to get men bitter, and to get men resentful.
Now, where we went wrong is after we did all that,
and all that built up anger and frustration from consuming this rhetoric, now it's time to give you an enemy to direct it to.
We built the Burj Khalifa and we let Mia Khalifa go in.
And may I present to you the enemy that the Manosphere creators have instructed you to direct this anger and frustration to,
in an elevator to the top of the Burj Khalifa
that they themselves manufactured for you,
and just let her piss on all of us for free.
The enemy is women. Side note, I did not build the Burj Khalifa, and I bet you didn't either.
We need to reclaim our masculinity.
This is why I don't like masculinity. Because if I was a young boy and I was curious about the word masculinity and wanting to learn what it means to be a man, and I went to social media and found endless masculinity themed accounts, the majority of the ones that I have seen are just gateways to misogynistic content. What I am seeing online, masculinity is a derivative of misogyny.
I understand it's time that men who built this infrastructure and this world for us to live in.
And if you wish to associate with the label masculinity and claim that that's not real masculinity, well, I hate to break it to you. You've got a fucking PR problem. Perhaps you should sort it out. I'm not going to sort it out because I want nothing to do with the label. Firstly, because it's meaningless to me, but secondly, because it has so much misogynistic rhetoric associated with it, I want nothing to do with it.
It's time that men get the respect they deserve.
This is why the Netflix series Adolescence has had the impact it's had.
And we need fathers to get the respect that they deserve.
Respect is earned. You're not entitled to it. How can we expect respect from society if we are going to make women our enemy and we are going to blame women for our pain and our struggle and our insecurities as men?
Because that's what's going to bring our society back.
This is fear-mongering and scare tactics from insecure men who want power over others and feel like that power is slipping away from them.
Otherwise, we are headed in a very bad direction.
We are already heading in a bad direction. It's because of the influence of men like you is having on men in our society.
Remember, I told you that.
If I'm wrong in any of my assessment, women should be gladly lining up to date men who consume manosphere, red pill, alpha male content. And I don't know one woman that wants to do that. They would gladly stay as far away as possible from men like this and have nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, misogynistic men do not grant women the courtesy to just leave them the fuck alone.
So this next video, I'm going to be posting what the women are saying in his comments. And I want you ladies to read the responses of the ladies and see that what he is saying is bullcrap. A lot of women are experiencing the same things, and a lot of women are speaking out and are not going for what these men are trying to feed us. So if you have time, watch the video and actually read the comments that are on the screen. Women are experiencing the same things globally.
Let the women on a little insight about what we men really crave. When you are soft and nurturing and warm and sweet, it does something to us. It really hits us deep down in our masculine core that inspires us to want to provide, to protect, to lead, to be grounded, to be a man of consistency and integrity. All of the things that you crave in a masculine man are inspired through your femininity. You see, when a woman is controlling and critical and guarded and defensive and combative towards a man, it puts him in to competitive mode, into warrior mode. Now he's going to battle with his woman instead of protecting her. Because when you are soft and sweet and honoring of the things that he does for you and you appreciate him, and you don't just look at him as like an emotionally numb caveman like most people view men, it does something to him. You really want to inspire your man's masculinity? Soften into your femininity and watch how he steps in to protect and provide and lead in a way that you've never seen before.
I really hate men. Today is one of those days. The town hall in Idaho last night it really threw me for a loop. It's the fact that every single man in that auditorium failed. Every single one. Not only that, but there were some that just took sheer glee. They were enjoying the fact that they were silencing a woman who had an opinion that was different from theirs. They claim to be defending the Constitution, yet the moment a woman disagrees with them, they're entitled to do what they want with her. Drag her out. Doesn't matter. She's a little girl. What did they say? They said she spoke up and now she has to deal with the consequences. Absolutely chilling. And every single man in that auditorium failed her.
Every man says I would die for my woman. I'm a protector. But let me ask you something. Would you kill your ego for her? Would you break your bad habits for her? Would you actually sit with your triggers and heal them so she doesn't have to carry the weight of your past? Would you learn to regulate your emotions? Not explode, not shut down, but hold space like a grounded man? Would you model what real love looks like so your kids don't have to unlearn it later? Because dying, that's the easy part. The real question is, would you live better every damn day for her? Because that's what love actually requires. Not sacrifice, discipline, presence, and healing. So don't tell me you die for her. Show me that you'll live for her.